Good morning. We're out here at Marawaka this morning. Beautiful morning, but it's windy. Just came in and yeah, it's gonna be interesting getting out. I was gonna get a little bit of coffee today, but just because of the winds, I'm definitely not gonna take any out today. I'll have 5 knots on headwind for takeoff, which would be great, but about a quarter mile out is when the wind starts shifting, and about a half mile out, I'll probably have a 17 knot tailwind. And yeah, it's a really tight valley, so it should be nice and bumpy there for our passengers. Anyways, we're heading on over to Sendeni, just like 5 miles over top of this mountain behind me, where I'll drop off some more medical supplies for COVID relief kind of stuff, more fever and stuff, but as well as some doctors. They'll be spending a week out there and come back and pick them up next week. Let's go ahead and taxi up to the top and see how bumpy this takeoff is. We'll see. You guys can check the direction of the wind in valleys, because I mean it changes so much. I mean 17 knots of headwind to crosswind to like 5 knots of tailwind on landing, but you can check the smoke, and that's going to give you an indication on what direction the wind is actually doing where you want to touch down. And thankfully, there's lots of little fires out today. Also just going to go ahead and look at the strip chart, the airstrip chart, just so I have an idea, because it's so close. Right, so it's 5,300 feet on touchdown, so I've already got 6,300 feet set in for my altitude select. And we'll be landing on runway 28 today, 7% slope, and we're going to land just past the windsocket. The runway kind of like dips down, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, on takeoff, if we're not airspeed alive by that big bush up there on the left, then actually we're probably going to be about 40 knots at that point. If we're not 40 knots at that point, then we'll go ahead and board on the runway. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL, consider feather. Lowest terrain, full flaps 80, emergencies master crack my door. Go ahead and do our SAR after we get taken off. Igniter's on, high idle, 20 degrees. So ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses are all good. Checklist is complete. Because it's so windy, I'm just going to keep my 20 degrees of flaps in and get my speed up a little bit faster in case it drops off as I come around that corner up there. 1290, rotate at 58. Fork is set. Your speed's alive. There's 40, continue. Stand by, no kilo. All right, let's just get my speed up. I've got 5 knots of headwind, just as planned. Keep my 20 degrees of flaps in. Make sure ITT is right at 740. Now the winds are starting to change a little bit. I've got 4 knots. We'll see how much it changes up here in the next half mile. Now it's starting to come out a little bit to the side, just 2 knots now. It was 17 knots when I landed just 10 minutes ago. And like I said, we're only going up to 6,300 feet. Oh, nice. The winds actually have dropped off quite a bit. We've got maybe 8 knots. It is increasing a little bit, but not nearly what I had coming in. There's 11 knots. It's probably going to speed up as like these mountains are like a Venturi, so now it's up to 11 knots, 12 knots on my tail, so. Orsby 6622, November Tango, Kilo, departure. Oh, we're at 6,300, 20 degrees flap, so I'm going to reduce my torque on down. All stations, Sendeni 120.1, November Tango, Kilos in the circuit from the east, Sendeni. Orsby 6622, November Tango, Kilo, departure. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about them now. Let's see, committal on this one is going to be a short final. I have to go around and power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73, fly to the end of the runway, and then a hard right-hand turn out. Got 10 knots here from the side. which is like a quartering tailwind on landing. A windsock down there is limp, which is good, but we'll see how the approach goes. This is pretty typical for here. I used to have two windsocks, so one at the top and one at the bottom, and they would do different things. All right, looks like I do have some wind every once in a while. It's just hanging there now, though. All right, we'll see how she goes. I want to land just past the windsock. It's like the runway, like I said, kind of dips down in that area. All right, I'm at pattern altitude now, 68 on final, 78 on base, 88 on downwind. I've already got 20 degrees of flaps in. Up and harness is done, flaps to go. We'll lose 300 feet before turning our base at 6,000. 7 knots of crosswind. Potentially that's what I'll have on final. These are 88 knots. Go for 6,000. Then we'll fly over to the other runway right over there, where we'll turn final right over top of it. Turning base and slow into 78 knots. The winds are dropping off now too, so that's good. I haven't been in here with you guys since last summer, so almost a year. Oh, it is a pleasure for me to come in here.
500.
Turning final 5,800. And start slowing on down. We'll do full flaps. Checklist is complete, except for that SAR, which will get on the ground, I guess. They didn't call me back. Here we go, 5,800, turning final. And we're slowing to 68 knots. All right, winds are coming from the complete opposite direction. Now it's 6 knots. That's interesting. But we've got 2 knots of headwind, which is good. This one has downdrafts, short final.
500.
So be prepared for that. Air speeds are good at 68. Descent's good at 450. Leave it flat. Up uncommitted. This is where we get downdrafts normally. All right, we're committed to land.
500.
There's the downdraft. Man, that's really rough today. All right, well, Mrs. Sendeni, I'm glad that worked out. I had to drop off some more doctors, medical supplies for here in Sendeni. Throw the drone up for you guys, and I think I have I have 1 bag of coffee out here. I think they had 3. Anyways, we'll load up here, and then we'll head on back to Goroka so you guys get a little bit of a view of what it looks like on a normal day for me. Moresby 6622, November Tango Kilo, on the ground, Sendeni, cancel SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Sendeni, SAR 178.
November Tango Kilo.
Morning. I'm stop close too, or?
Yes, I already wait here.
All right, let me check him something.
Yeah.
All right, so they have a sick patient out here, they said as well, some lady. Looks like it's a charter, so I can take her back for free, which is nice. So we'll get her loaded up, as well as a little bit of coffee, fly the drone around for you guys, and get on out of here. Sally morning.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Coffee, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How much is that?
5 bags.
Oh, this time,
Yeah.
you brought?
Yeah.
So, this block coffee test all, you know, got more yet. Em just blow coffee test or you plug up more yet? Okay, you plug and start low. Go underneath, yes. Thank you. Alright, so I just got 5 bags of coffee so far. I'm going to see how much I can actually take out of here. Alright, let's take a look at the pilot limits. Coming out of here out of Sendeni is 190 kgs would have to take off. So I'm going to put that into here as my runway penalty, 190. I've got 2 seats off. I'm 90 with my bags. We've got 650 pounds of fuel on board, so I can take out of here 724 kgs. All right, well, I've got 722 kgs coming out of here. I've got kind of a headwind. I can feel it on my face, which is great. Taking a sick lady out of here who's been sick for a really long time. If you look down at the windsock, it's sticking straight out down there, but it comes and goes. So I'll probably just wait a little bit, throw up the drone, show you guys around a little bit, and finish tying everything down, and then go ahead and get out of here. I thought I'd just walk down the airstrip with you guys because I actually forgot my drone, so I'll have to show you guys some old footage I took last year. Anyways, we've got an elementary school right up here. I'm not sure exactly what grades and stuff, but yeah. And then I think there's a clinic down here. I've been down here. I think can't really see it, but it's a tin roof down there. There's a clinic down there. And as you can see, just looking at the windsock now, it's just kind of sitting there limp. So it kind of comes and goes and comes and goes. This is a really cool fence here that they have. It's all made out of, I think it's just tonga. Basically just these little like plants. And at first I thought it was actually a fence, but yeah, no. This is gonna look really, really good once it all grows in. Wow, what an incredible view, eh? Just spectacular here. And I've got my little posse behind me. Well, let's head back up to the top. Got her strapped up and got a nice headwind for takeoff. Let's head on back to Goroka, just a 26-minute flight. Just get my brake on. Just gotta invade it for a second. There we go. All stations Sendeni 120.7. Kodiak November Tango Kilo will be departing Sendeni for Goroka. We'll be on climb 10,000. We're pretty much at our max takeoff. No, we're not pretty much. We're 2 kgs under a maximum amount that I can take out of here today. Just 722 kgs with the amount of seats I have on and the fuel. We are 5,000, 30 degrees just about. 1320, 1270, ignition, condition, flaps 20, and fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. We'll rotate 62, which is going to be a long ways down the runway. 1270, here we go. Torque is set. Airspeed is alive. There's 45. Up my torque a bit. There's 62, follow the terrain down. Kind of nose over the edge, get my speed up. 4 knots of crosswind is all. And we'll make our right hand turn out because we're only climbing at like 250 feet per minute right this second. And what a view, eh? This is
One of the coolest valleys that we get to fly in. There's a bunch, but this is one of them. We're 85 knots. 8 knots of headwind now. And over 100 we'll go 0 and bring our prop to 2,000 RPM.
12109, Juliet Alpha inform.
We're just going to climb out at 99 knots. I've got to, actually let's do a 180. These mountains off to my right are almost 11,000 feet. I'm only at 6,000, but I can get out through a gap behind me and it's only 8,500 feet. So that'll be, I think, my best bet. We'll just crest around this next corner. I believe that's my gap that I need. I need to be at 80, at least minimum 8,400 feet, but kind of the way the winds have been going, I'm going to get myself up to at least 8,600, give myself a few hundred feet to get through. It looks like the clouds are kind of just sitting right on top of it too, but it should still be open though. All right, let's flip our engine inlet back to normal. Igniter's turned off. The landing light we've already turned off. There's more clouds than I was thinking there was going to be. I can always head out that way or climb up higher, but that's just the wrong direction. Stick our nose up there and just take a look at it. It might change once we get a little bit closer and I can see more. So we'll put back in bypass just because we're at the level where all the birds are. I'm coming up at this
500
at a 45-degree angle so that I can kind of just peel off at any time. So I'm just going to stick my nose as much as I can up there, see what it looks like on the other side. And slow on down. We'll throw 10 degrees of flaps in. 20 degrees of flaps in. Our prop forward. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of room on the other side. We can squeeze through that just fine. All right, now I can bring my power back in. And we'll also go 10 degrees of flaps, start getting our flaps back out. Now that we're through it, go 0 and our prop back to 2,000. We've got some friends, I've showed you guys this out here before, but we did some helicopter shuttles out to this location. We've got some friends that live out here. I'm going to go give them a flyby just to say hello, let them know that we're thinking of them.
500. 500.
That's going to be a really cool runway if they don't lose half of it down the hill, that's for sure. Oh, look at this little village right here, right on top of this ridge.
500.
So incredible. People pay millions for views like this.
500.
Yeah, wow, what a view. All right, let's climb on up. Air ITT up to 720 for our climb. Head on back to Goroka. If you guys are interested, I've got some new sunglasses, just like the classic style of aviators on my website now. They're polarized. They're like a greenish gray. They say green on the listing, but they're kind of like very, very similar to these, where they're kind of a greenish gray lens, but they're polarized, really nice metal frames, and they're gold. So anyways, I also have these ones on as well. It's silver and in gold. But yeah, there's been a lot of people that have asked me if they can get the exact same ones I have. So anyways, check it out if you're interested. All stations, Goroka area 120.7 and November Tango Echo. November Tango Kilo, 35 miles to the south-southeast on the 150 radial, 8,000. Estimating Goroka 59er. Goroka Tower, good morning, November Tango Kilo.
Tango Kilo, Tower.
November Tango Kilo, 16 miles to the south-southeast, left 8,000 on descent. Your circuit 59er, copy traffic Alpha November Foxtrot.
November Tango Kilo, Roger. Elvin 1 ahead of Alpha Tango Foxtrot. Change second on a straight-in approach, 35 right. Report on final, runway 35 right.
Track report final 35 right, straight in November Tango Kilo. And please take an area QNH, or local QNH, please.
1017.
1017, thanks. A lot of you guys have asked, why are you always landing on the short kind of crappy runway here in Goroka, it's because our hangar's on that side. It's still like 3,000 feet long, so it's short in comparison to the longer runway, and it's not as good quality of pavement or anything, and it's not very smooth, and it kind of has undulations in it and everything, but our hangar's on that side, so that's why I always land on the right side. That's the only reason why I land on the right side. The only time I land on the left side is if I have like a massive tailwind, like I'm saying like 22 knots of quartering tailwind, which I've had before. Then I'll land on the longer runway just because it's smoother, or if there's a lot of weather around and I want to give myself a lot more margin, or if I have passengers and I want to make a really, really smooth landing, then I'll go for the longer, smoother, nicer runway. Otherwise, most of the time, I'll just land on the shorter runway. 6 miles out, that's usually where I start slowing on down with passengers to make all my changes nice and smooth. Otherwise, although it is a bit bumpy here in the Goroka Valley, as always. Tower, November Tango Kilo, 5 mile final, 35 right.
Tango Kilo, 35 right, clear to land.
So land 35 right, November Tango Kilo. Flaps, checklist is complete. I'll be coming in at 72 knots today. I've got 3 knots of tailwind. And it is a one-way airstrip. Some of you guys have asked that too. Why don't you land the other way? It's only one way. It's like a 3% up slope. You can tell on the ground, but not so much from the air.
November Tango Kilo, pass.
November Tango Kilo, 1 mile final, 35 right.
November Tango Kilo. Kilo Alpha, taxi 17 right, 1017.
Taxi 17 right, 1017.
Alright, I'm just going to keep a couple extra knots in my speed just because it's bouncing me all around. I'm at like 75 knots. 3 knots of tailwind. Bird at the end, there you go, he's moved out. Hope you guys enjoyed that kind of vlog today. Feel free to share this video anywhere you guys want. That is completely fine with me, and leave a comment down below if you didn't enjoy it, and if you did enjoy it, leave it a thumbs up.
Like I said, you guys, if you guys want to share this video on forums or wherever else you want to, it sure does help my channel grow. I sure do appreciate it. Hope you guys appreciate all the work that I put in these videos. These type of videos take 3 times longer than the regular type, so that's why I'm only doing like a couple of them a month. But I do realize that they are probably a little bit more interesting and just something new. So anyways, thanks so much. I really do appreciate the support. Have a great day.